Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. We have the full crew in house today to recap the AFC and NFC championship games where the Chiefs and the Eagles will rematch in the Super Bowl. Once again, fellas, how are we doing?
I'm doing as well as I can. Of course, it sucks. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl for a third straight year. Silver lining, Jalen Hurts will be going to his second Super Bowl in 3 years. More importantly, the Philadelphia Eagles will be going to the Super Bowl yet again. Great performance by them. Should be a great game. I'm excited. However, we watched some pretty great football, and I am interested to see what you guys have to say about today's games, truthfully.
It was awesome. This late game was phenomenal. I mean, this is everything we hope for. Mahomes versus Allen comes down to the very last drive, going tit for tat. First game, Eagles dominated. Putting up 55 points in a playoff game is insane. I know the Commanders put up 45 the previous week against the Lions, but 55 points on them. Shout to Will Shipley and Kenny Pickett for getting it done. But they dominated the Commanders. I'm excited to talk about these games.
I'm excited. My team is in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I couldn't go 2-0 today, but Eagles got back, so I feel good about that. Had a great game that we just watched. And yeah, I'm also on the same fence of Drew. I saw a lot of Joel's nasty tweets. He always has nasty tweets after a game. It's very funny. So I'm excited to see where he goes with it.
Likewise, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I went 0-2 today.
You're an idiot.
I wanted to see one. I didn't pick the Commanders to
You're
win.
an idiot.
But I was hoping that
you're starting early. You're an idiot.
Glad you're here, John.
Why am I an idiot?
It's not just when the Ravens lose.
You prayed on the Commanders. 55 points.
I wanted them to win. That does make me an idiot.
Idiot.
But other than that, we saw some good football. Of course, the Chiefs-Bills game had a great second half, and it was exciting. Of course, the Eagles played a really complete game as well, so it's definitely interesting to talk about.
Wait, John, you said you went 0 for 2. Did you pick the Eagles or Commanders?
I picked the Eagles.
So how'd you go 0 for 2?
Because the two teams I wanted to win.
In his heart, he went 0 for 2.
Okay, I see. It was like, I don't know what you were talking about specifically, but yeah, you wanted the Commanders to beat the Eagles. I think we can start with Mahomes versus Allen, the fourth part of this. Now it's not a rivalry. Mahomes has won every single matchup. Here's where I stand with the game. If you would have told me before this game happened that Josh Allen and the Bills would have the ball down 3 points, 3 minutes left, 3 timeouts, with the game on the line, with the potential to score a touchdown and take the lead, I would tell you I think the Bills will pull it off. I just do. I think Josh Allen in all of his matchups, he has stepped up to the moment. This one specifically, because of the Kincaid drop, you can't fault Allen for the loss. He played amazing. But at some point, it really doesn't matter how well Josh Allen plays in these games if they just continue to lose. And I thought this game specifically was a breakdown on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. On the defensive side, the first half was abysmal from the Bills. They bounced back in the second half. Outside of the final drive of the game, they couldn't get a stop on third down. But the Chiefs had some great offensive play designs, but still, you trust Sean McDermott, or at least you should, as a defensive-minded head coach, to get those stops. I thought this game was more about Joe Brady, and I just thought that he called a pedestrian game. I don't know about you guys, but I thought every single short yardage situation, it was a run or a quarterback sneak up the gut. And I just didn't think that the Bills' offensive line had the necessary push to make that a safe call. And we saw how it was stuffed. And I thought the story of this game was just empty possessions. In the first half, you had 2 empty possessions from the Bills, 2 times they punted. In the second half, 2 turnover on downs. The first one being that controversial, was it a first down? Was it not a first down? I thought it was very close. I didn't think it was obvious that Allen got the first down. And then the last Bills offensive drive of the game, Kincaid drops a ball. But the start of that drive was run that loses yards. The second down play call was Nick Bolton batting down a pass. And then on third down, they played for a manageable fourth down instead of trying to get a first down with the screen call to Amari Cooper. And then the fourth down play call, unprepared versus the blitz. Allen just heaves it up there and gives somebody a chance. I just thought the execution on the Chiefs side really showed, and it showed why Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo are the best in the business at their respective sides of the ball. This is another missed opportunity from the Bills, and this is going to sting because I thought the Chiefs gave them an opportunity to go down the field and beat them in Arrowhead.
Anybody want to go?
Man, I'm sick.
I'll go. I thought honestly the game was lost on that play. That play where, like you mentioned, it could have went either way. You could have decided that it was a first. You could have decided that was a fourth turnover and 4 downs, like they did decide. I thought that was the game right there. You know, up 22-21, you have an opportunity to go down the field, make it an 8, 9, 10, whatever point, make it an 8, 9 point game. You know, you have 4th and 1, and all night it felt like the QB runs weren't working. Like on the 1 yard lines, the short yardage, it felt like Kansas City were prepared for them. So I thought that was the game right there. And even in the opportunity where you had, you know, you were down 3, you had an opportunity to go up the field. I felt like Joe Brady, time and time again, kept calling the wrong play. But at the same time, I agree with you, Joe. I feel like this was the Bills' game to win it. And, you know, we can fault Josh Allen. We can fault Don Kincaid. We can fault Sean McDermott. I'll just chalk it up to a team failure. This team failed to execute. This team failed to get it done. This team had an opportunity to go in the Arrowhead. And given that they had multiple opportunities to steal this game, win this game, pull out a victory, as a whole team, they just collapsed. They felt like they wasn't prepared for it in the first quarter. Josh Allen came out a little bit rattled in that first drive. Could have threw an interception, back-to-back plays. You know, and then they had a couple fumbles where it was a couple botched snaps, you know, them dropping the ball. It just felt like Buffalo in certain drives on certain plays wasn't prepared. And, you know, Kansas City was. And shout out to Andy Reid and Spags. You know, they drew up a great game plan. But I'm putting this on the whole Buffalo team. They just did not show up to play today.
All right, some interesting takeaways. I'll say this, as the only guy to pick the Chiefs, it's not easy to brag about because, again, I don't like Kansas City. Didn't really want them to win. However, I did feel like they would win this game. It would come down to a couple of plays. And if it's going to come down to a last drive, if it's going to come down to a one-score game, you just have that expectation that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the game. Now, when I first talked about this game, I thought that there'd be a defensive possession that made the difference in this game. Now, it wasn't so much on Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen in that moment made as good of a throw as you could on 4th down. Spagnuolo, amazing play call. Tony Romo called it during the game, and it was spot on. Spagnuolo saved a special type of blitz for a big moment. And in that one, Josh Allen got as good of a throw as you could ask for in that situation, and Dalton Kincaid simply couldn't come up with the catch. Again, you can't pin this loss on Kincaid. Kincaid should have came down with the ball. There was a lot of other moments that you look at the Buffalo Bills failing to execute. You even look at that 3rd and long situation. Why are they running a screen pass to Amari Cooper to even put them in a situation that it is 4th and 5? I'm on the side that I believe Josh Allen got the first down. I think he did just do enough to extend to get the first down, but that's not how it shook. I'm not looking at that moment as the one where, oh, that's where the game got lost, because either which way you shake it, like Joel mentioned, you get the ball back with 3 minutes. You're Josh Allen. You're the number 1 offense in the league. We're all anticipating, especially after a clutch 4th down conversion, that you're going to go down the field and you're going to put points on the board. You give credit to the defense. Joel, I saw your tweet giving credit to the Bills defense for the way that they looked in the first half and the way that they looked in the second half against the Baltimore Ravens. All you can do if you're a Bills fan is tip your cap and say thank you for giving our MVP a chance with the ball to do something. Whether you want to hear it or not, unfortunately, they fell short. They were not able to go ahead and put points on the board and be able to close this game out. That sucks for Josh Allen. That sucks for the Buffalo Bills. It's been the story of the Buffalo Bills' franchise. But you look at Kansas City, 3 straight years of making the Super Bowl. You have to respect and appreciate it. It sucks as a Broncos fan. I definitely am upset. I'm rooting Philadelphia Eagles to go out there and do the unthinkable, ruin history. But you have to respect Kansas City. Every single time it's a big moment. Every single time it's a big game, there's one constant, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs only scored 11 points in the second half. Bills defense allowed 1 touchdown, field goal, 2 punts. For the most part, they did just about everything you could ask for a defense, because in the first half, they allowed 21 points. The Chiefs were going up and down the field outside of the 1 turnover that that Mahomes had, they were basically scoring at will. In the second half, they really were able to lock in. I don't think Josh Allen played amazing out of this world. Like, I think Josh Allen had a good game. Like, for Josh Allen standards, like, this is maybe like a tick below what I expect. First half, he had a minimum of 3 turnover-worthy plays, if not 4, depending on how harsh of a grader you want to be. That final drive was interesting because I'd have to rewatch it. I thought the 3rd and 10, he checked to that screen pass. Like, I thought he might have audibled. I have to double check. The 4th down one, they had an answer for the all-out blitz. Shakir was in the backfield, and if you look at the like GPS that ESPN has or Next Gen, Shakir's wide open. And if he gets that to him, again, it's an all-out blitz, game on the line, it's Spags, it's the biggest moment of your life. I understand. You want to go and throw it up, trying to make some plays in the backfield, buy some time. Shakir was wide open. You hit that, you probably gain 20 to 30 yards and keep the drive going. I can't put that on Kincaid. I mean, this is a Josh Allen taking 10 steps back foot, throwing it up. He's got to come back. There's 5 Chiefs defenders around him. It would have been one of the best catches, if not the catch of the year, if Kincaid is able to make that. I thought the play was there for Josh to make in the backfield. That's a hard moment to do it, though. It's easy for me being on my couch, be like, bro, Shakir's wide open when you got 3 dudes coming in your face. No pause. But overall, I mean, Kansas City, we doubt them. I doubt them. Scored 32 points. Most they scored all season long. They were like 97th percentile in success rate in this game. The biggest moments, they just show up. You know, that gives credit to Spags. That gives credit to Andy Reid. That first drive, they went down the field, like 7 of their whatever plays were RPOs. They were just picking apart this Bills defense. Patrick Mahomes was sensational in this game. The only thing I really take away from this game, from the Chiefs side, because we're going to talk, I'm sure, a lot about the Bills, is this team can have an electric running attack. Like, Kareem Hunt, to me, looked so much better than Isaiah Pacheco.
I'm close.
Big plays in like the 4th quarter, so I want to give him credit. Of course, he stepped out of bounds, but regardless, this team needs something explosive because, like, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, who had a great game himself, but you look around the NFL, it's not hard to find a top 10 running back or have a top 10 running back season. And it's been a while since the Chiefs have had like a real legit workhorse who we consider to be a top 10 back in the NFL. This upcoming draft class has a ton of running backs. So that, I feel like, is the one area that can make this offense even more deadly and even more consistent, even with them, you know, putting out a 30-year-old Kareem Hunt, 28, and Isaiah Pacheco coming off a broken leg. They're still able to get those hard plays, those 3rd and shorts, 2nd and shorts, and keep the chains going. But really tough game for the Buffalo Bills. I understand if you're a Bills fan, you're like, if not now, then when? This felt like a game you could have. But in the end, Kansas City and those got-to-have-it moments, whether it's on offense or it's on defense, part of it's coaching, part of it's on the players, they always just come up.
They're inevitable. Every year, the Kansas City Chiefs find, and it's been especially apparent the last 3 years, find a way in these huge games to pull it out. Obviously, in this one, their defense was pretty critical. You know, you hold the Bills to 5 of 14 on 3rd down. A lot of these key spots, especially Josh Allen's QB sneak, which wasn't ruled that first down. The Chiefs in those biggest spots routinely find ways to make the biggest plays. In a game like this, where the Bills don't turn over the football, it did feel like this was kind of their game where they had some luck on their side. Of course, on the first drive of the game, Josh Allen has 2 dropped interceptions. And from that moment on, like, I don't have a great feeling about this, especially someone who did take the Bills to go with the Super Bowl this year, which was not smart whatsoever. It was really a gut feeling. But for Kansas City, the biggest takeaway for me would just continue to be Patrick Mahomes in the biggest games, continuing to find a way. You know, on Josh Allen's side, it's Matt Collinstein who's making huge plays over in the middle of the field. But on Kansas City side, you have Juju Smith-Schuster and Xavier Worthy leading this team in receiving. To have this type of offensive output with Travis Kelce basically being kind of absent for most of the game, not really being utilized, and of course, Noah Gray neither. Though usually the tight end position is where the Chiefs have found advantages in the offensive end, but today was Kareem, it was Xavier Worthy, it was Juju, and Hollywood Brown even at times. So I think it really comes down to the Chiefs just continuing to get high-level production out of these role players, and it's just another year for the Bills, man. I thought that at some point they would finally get it done. They would not lose to the Chiefs 4 times in a row in the playoffs, but I guess at this point there's nothing else you can really say. Kansas City is going to the Super Bowl, and it's pretty worthy.
Quick question. Riv, did Josh Allen choke in this game?
He was down.
Did he choke?
No, I wouldn't say he choked.
Why did Lamar choke?
Because he had 2 turnovers in the first half.
Josh Allen had 3 turnover-worthy plays.
Turnover-worthy plays aren't turnovers.
It should have been turnovers.
It's reaching, but I get where
it's just really a luck thing at that point.
I'm sorry.
Like, you know,
luck didn't favor.
I'm just asking why didn't Josh
favor
choke?
Lamar
In the fourth
luck
quarter
didn't
with 3
favor
minutes left,
Lamar.
you couldn't get shit done. I'm just wondering.
You said what?
I'm just wondering why Josh Allen didn't choke. You have the ball with 3 minutes left. You're the best quarterback in the NFL, and you can't even put 3 up on the board. I don't need a touchdown. He needs to put up 3 to tie it.
No,
He can't get that.
Well, let's dissect this. You were sitting on the couch. I was sitting on my bed. We were watching it. You just admitted that. So let's dissect this for a second. First down, they get it. They run a HB toss. So that has nothing to do with Josh Allen. That's a running back. He lost yards. Then they do a screen route. We can check if that's audible. Don't know. Screen routes are funny to me. I hate them. I don't like the play. Then you just mentioned it on the blitz, the most important blitz. Everybody in the building knew it was a blitz except the Buffalo Bills.
Well, Shakir, they had an answer for it. She didn't.
I'm sure. Yeah. Listen, the blitz came so fast. I agree with you. I think he should have hit Shakir.
Did he not put a good enough ball for Kincaid to make a play?
It was a great ball.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I think the Shakir thing, the points that you're making, I saw the dots. Like, and we could pull up it a bit. I think if you guys want, we can actually play it right now. We can go see it. I could share my screen right now. So Benjamin Solak posted it. You guys can see my screen right now. Okay. So these are the dots of the play. You can see that Shakir is motioning into the backfield, and then once the ball is snapped, he starts to break out the backfield. Justin Reed is already in his face. So at that point, he's just trying to escape the pressure that's in his face. Could he hit Shakir? Yes. Like, you see, Shakir has so much space that it would obviously be a first down. And there is an example of this play earlier in the season against the Chiefs where it was converted. But I think the difference is that this was a clean pocket. There was no pressure. So Allen had time to hit Shakir, and it was easily a first down. I think Joe Brady called a great play. There's no doubt against that blitz, but it got there so fast that I don't think you can fault Allen for throwing Kincaid the ball. Like, the ball was really good, Dells, and Kincaid should have caught it. Kincaid should have caught it 100%. Kincaid should have caught it.
Tough catch.
He should have caught it.
Definitely tough catch.
You're in the NFL. The ball hits your hand in that scenario. You need to catch the ball.
Brother, you don't got to tell me. You don't got to tell me.
Now, can I also ask a separate question? Now, this is more so on the Chiefs side. Now, coming in, I thought Mahomes would outperform Josh Allen. I think we all agree Mahomes was the best quarterback on the field. Easily. Also, in gotta have it situations. Now, for Patrick Mahomes, in the last few games, we've seen Mahomes in the pass offense at its best. He set season highs in dropback success rate, 65%, and then dropback EPA, 21 plus 21.5 in the championship game over the Bills. His top 3 games for dropback EPA this season have been over the last 4 games. Now, I asked the question to the panel, as I, again, am not a Chiefs supporter. I don't claim them at all, but I do ask you guys, mainly Mr. Moran, who is the biggest Mahomes supporter that we know, how could you go into this game and pick Josh Allen over your supposed greatest of all time?
Because it's about the matchup, and I thought the Bills ran the ball really well against the Chiefs. I just thought that in the first half, they were taken out of their identity because of the lead that the Chiefs built up. They weren't able to run the ball as much as they ran it in the second half when the score was much closer. I thought the Bills' offense was at its best when James Cook was getting the ball. That's just my opinion. But they weren't able to play their brand of football because the Chiefs took them out of it, and that all goes to game plan, opening game script. And Sean McDermott has done a tremendous job of changing his philosophy from zone defense to man defense. And in this game, he played more man coverage than he usually does. But Andy Reid had the perfect play calls dialed up against that man coverage with those rub routes, with misdirection, and getting people open. Mahomes played a better game than Josh Allen. I also thought the offensive design from the Chiefs was much better than Joe Brady's on the other side. So I think this game came down to the wire, just like I thought it would. I thought the Bills would come out on top in this one, but this game was a 3-point game. Josh Allen has the ball with 3 timeouts left, 3 minutes to go on the clock. I at least think he's getting a field goal in that situation, but this was the drive that was going to define Josh Allen's legacy currently, if he can or cannot get it done. And you can argue about the play call and about whose fault it is, where, but on 4th down, he did put a pass in Dalton Kincaid's hands that was dropped, and that could have extended the drive. This was always going to be a close matchup, and as for the Mahomes thing, they executed better, but I thought these two teams were evenly matched, and the Bills, they didn't play their best game today, and I thought the Chiefs did play their best game.
Also, them losing Benford throughout the game, and when they put Elam in, oh my God, it got
Elam's
so
terrible.
bad, bro.
Elam's terrible.
Yeah, he's not good. I felt bad for him. I really genuinely felt bad because I know the whole world is watching, and you got in the game and you got torched immediately. Like there was no let up on how bad they were doing you.
No,
Want to
it
give
was
a
terrible.
couple shout outs. I think Xavier Worthy has broken out right before our eyes. Got to give some credit to the rookie performances we've seen over the last 2 years for Kansas City wide receivers. First Rashee Rice, now Xavier Worthy. And Xavier Worthy has broken out over these last few weeks, but this was his best performance, especially taken in situation, having over 100 all-purpose yards. He was essential for what they needed to do to win the ball game. And honestly, you mentioned Kareem Hunt, Joel. Let's give some love to Juju. I think he made some good plays in this game too. It was just a great round performance for the Kansas City Chiefs, but really, if you think it's gonna be a close game, and this is coming from what history has shown us, if coming in you think it's gonna be a close game and you pick against Kansas City, you have to reap what you sow, sadly.
Also, shout out to Matt Collins. He was basically a mini Gabe Davis today. He had a great touchdown at the end of that first half. He had another contested catch in the second half. He was great too, because the Bills passing attack overall was just pretty shitty. I mean, Matt Collins led the way in receiving yards. James Cook was second, and you got Shakir third, and then no one else had more than 40 yards. So it was tough to get really anything going. Of course, that's what their wide receiver core has been this year. It's a bunch of guys showing up in spots. Curtis Samuel had a nice touchdown in the back of the end zone. Beautiful throw by Josh Allen. But Matt Collins had himself a great game.
Yeah, he did. With the Chiefs and a one-score thing, I thought the winner of this game was going to come down to who had the ball last, whether it was Mahomes or Josh Allen. And technically, Mahomes
didn't show up.
Yeah,
Shame.
technically, Mahomes had the ball last, but only because the Bills' drive was unsuccessful. But if you look at the difference in those two drives, the first downs that the Chiefs picked up, were those exceptional special Mahomes plays, or were they great designs?
You tell me.
You tell us.
I lean on the side of great designs. The
Interesting.
rollouts,
Wow.
yes, the Pacheco, the pass to Pacheco. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. That Mahomes rollout, every time he did it, it was guaranteed successful.
They were excellent play designs, and yeah, you have to go out there and execute. But I thought Andy Reid just had a beat on what Sean McDermott was doing, and I think, and now poses another interesting question of what the Bills should do. You've lost 4 times to Mahomes in the playoffs. Sean McDermott usually gets the best out of his defense in the regular season. They didn't have Benford or Taylor Rapp in this game, but you have the chance to give the ball back to your offense, and you cannot get a stop on 3rd and long. And it happens because of a play that you probably should be prepared for. At this point in time, I'm just kind of thinking of, what is the fix for the Bills moving forward? Like, how do you get over this hump? And it just kind of feels like Sean McDermott has wore his time out with the Bills.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
He got extended, right?
He did.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Dallas, can I ask you a question, man? What really do you expect from Buffalo moving forward, realistically? I say this as last year when the Chiefs got past the Ravens, and we all felt collectively, if it wasn't this year, then it's not going to be any year. Now, for you guys felt this was the year. The Chiefs weren't as good as the rest of their opponents, specifically in this game. The Buffalo Bills are better than Kansas City. If it's not this year, then when? Because, again, the Chiefs may not be this overwhelmingly impressive roster. They may not have the most talent, but always in big game situations, they rise. The other teams fail to meet them there.
The Chiefs do have the most talent. The Chiefs are a very talented team.
Okay,
yes.
Sure. All right.
I just think that the Bills played far from their best game. Like, really, I think that Joe Brady's play calling was really bad in this one.
I'm going to disagree. I think in fourth and third and short situations, in a play that has been overly successful for the Buffalo Bills, that Josh Allen QB sneak, you have to give acknowledgement and credit to that Chiefs defense. They
Yes.
stood tall and they answered every
Brother, they
single
ran it
time.
like
Yes,
7 times.
you give the credit to the Chiefs defense, but the Bills ran that play so many times to the point where the
gotta
last
adjust.
time it happened, you kind of knew
That
it's
play
this
has been
play
one of
again.
the most successful in their playbook
Yes,
all
yes,
year long.
yes, but not against the Chiefs. Against the Chiefs, they had 3 quarterback sneaks and they were stuffed on 3 quarterback
three.
sneaks, which is the
Yeah.
most in
But
a
you
game
give
since
credit to the
2016.
Chiefs.
Exactly.
They stopped
But
an
that,
unstoppable play.
yes, you give credit to the Chiefs, but that they were stopping the Bills all night long. Even when the Bills were converting, it was barely. You didn't feel good about them. They weren't pushing the Chiefs defensive line over. You even look at the 4th down conversion they got when James Cook got the touchdown. How difficult did that feel? James Cook extended, like all the play calls in do or die situations and crucial moments felt very underwhelming. And that's where I just feel like the coaching disparity between the two really showed. I thought the Chiefs were more prepared in this game. I thought Andy Reid had a better game plan offensively, and I thought Spags had a better game plan defensively. But the Chiefs, they got healthy at the right time with Jalen Watson coming back. George Karlaftis has broken out to a Pro Bowl caliber type of talent over the last couple of weeks. And when you have Chris Jones and Karlaftis on the edge and Deshaun Watson on the interior defensive line, they have a lot of mismatches on the chessboard that they can use to their advantage. But I didn't think this was the best Bills game. And I thought what had been their identity all year long had been that rushing attack. And they weren't able to get into that running game until the second half because of what the score was.
Another play I want to give love to, Karlaftis' tackle on 3rd and long on Amari Cooper. Wow. What a play. Yeah. What a play, because 4th and 5 is a lot different than 4th and 2. What a tackle that was.
Yeah, I don't think, to answer your question, Drew, I don't think there's an answer. Right now, the Bills and every team in the NFL, you're running into a dynasty. You're running into probably the best quarterback of all time. You're running into arguably the best head coach of all time. And you're running into arguably one of the best assistants of all time in Spags. Yeah. So you could go through different coaches. You could go through different players. At some point, you got to hope you break through. If you just go to the AFC Championship game, if you play the Chiefs 8 times, you got to hope once or twice you end up beating them. And it might sound kind of silly, and it's like, is that really the answer? But that might be the answer, because the Chiefs over these last 2 seasons, I know the defense was great last year, and like Joel mentioned, they're getting healthy this year, but it's not like we've looked at the Chiefs this year or last year and thought they were juggernauts. Like last year, I thought Baltimore was better. I don't think that was me being a homer. This year, we thought Buffalo was better, and obviously it's not us being homers. Of course, Joel's the biggest Chiefs fan here. At some point, if you're a Bills fan, you got to hope, you have maybe get one more turnover, you get 1 or 2 more 3rd downs, you end up throwing Shakir there instead of throwing it up and you get 30 yards. Like, you just got to hope if you keep trying and you keep putting up pieces like this year, this is the best offensive line Josh Allen had. Like James Cook broke out into a top 10 level running back
game he's had.
Yeah. Exactly. So things have been getting better. You just got to hope one of these years you get a couple plays in this game. The thing is, I don't think it's a roster issue. I don't think it's a coaching issue, because Joe Brady has shown to be one of the better offensive minds, although I agree, I don't think this is his best called game. But in these games, in these moments, you just need a couple things to break your way. It was the same thing with New England for 10 years, with a decade with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. It's going to be the same with Kansas City. You're going to roll different variations of the Bills, and there are some teams going to be better than others. But in one of these games, you need to have 5 sacks on Mahomes. You need to get 2 to 3 turnovers in just one. And in the last minute, in the last possession, you need Josh Allen to outplay Patrick Mahomes just 1 or 2 times. Because if he gets to the Super Bowl once, that's all it's going to take for this talk to go away. But until then, Kansas City is going to keep doing what they're doing.
I feel like the only answer is Steve Spagnuolo takes a head coaching job, and he's not their defensive coordinator. And that's really the only answer, because Steve, it's such a major advantage to have the best defensive coordinator, arguably, not as a head coach. He's your DC. And because he's been a failed head coach previously, it's allowed him to step into this spot without anybody really calling his phone to be their head coach.
I like Dennis Allen hire. So
and
I like Chicago.
And it's just, it gives you such a major advantage. And people have argued that that's like the best pathway when it comes to coaching trees, right? You get a offensive minded head coach who's an elite play caller, and you get a failed defensive head coach from somewhere else. And that's how the Eagles got Vic Fangio. And that's why they're so good defensively. So I think that's probably the easiest answer. But the Chiefs just have great players at premium positions. Like I think last year the Ravens were more talented, but the Chiefs had 2 shutdown corners, and the Ravens didn't have receivers that you really respected outside of Zay Flowers. So they were able to schematically kind of take a part of their offense away. So I just think they just know how to strategize and use their players the best.
And the Ravens also didn't run the football last year.
No, they didn't. And this game was interesting. I go back to what Riv said earlier when the game was 22-21. That was the point in the game where the Bills needed to take control. And if it wasn't there, you kind of felt like they lost their chokehold on the game, because you got to look at it. They were fighting back. They scored on their first drive of the second half, and then they make the Chiefs punt, and then they get the ball back, and you get a turnover on downs. And whether or not it was controversial, you think it was a first down or not, I didn't think it was an obvious, clear first down. I don't know about you guys. I thought it was a tough call to make either way.
Yeah.
So, I think that's the thing with the Bills is that, in these moments, whether it's been Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, they just don't play. Well, Josh Allen has in the past, but Josh Allen did not play his best game this game, and that's what you need in order to beat the Chiefs. You need to be disciplined on all phases, and that's just not what the Bills were.
Yeah. Also, the interception. Sorry, just one quick thing, Riv. The interception, like the play where Worthy and I forgot what Bill's defender, like interception.
Bishop.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if the refs are reviewing who had possession of the ball, I don't think they could also review, is it a completion? I don't think they could come in and be like, oh, actually, it's an incomplete catch or an incomplete pass. Now, on the other side, it was also a penalty on Buffalo. So if it does get called Buffalo's ball, Chiefs are going to accept it, and Casey keeps it. I feel like that was the thing going around, like, oh, another way the Chiefs got blessed by the refs, but I don't think that's the case.
Can I ask you guys a question? Am I crazy? The ball didn't move when it hit the floor. It was pinned the entire time.
Yeah, like maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought.
And that's another rule. That the rule is that if it can hit the ground, it just can't move, and it didn't move. So if they reviewed if it was a catch or not, it would have still stood as a catch. So people want to complain about the referees and the Chiefs all the time, but I just think they are just more disciplined than people. But Riff, any last closing thoughts? And John, then you can go to any closing thoughts.
No, just to answer the question, I just think Buffalo needs to get stars. I think they've had a bit of a retool in the sense of they have a lot of unsung heroes on their roster, and they built something that's good for them. But you look at Kansas City, they have stars at the coaching staff, they have stars on their roster. And even Baltimore last year, they had a ton of stars on their roster on the defensive side. I think, Buffalo just needs to get stars, guys that are, guys that can be legit game changers, same way how they thought Von Miller could come in when they picked him up in free agency and be that game changer. I feel like they just need guys like that and keep building what you've been building, keep trusting in the system. You've made it to 4 or 5 straight divisional rounds. You've constantly made the playoffs. You've ran your division for some time. So it's unfortunate that you're stuck in a era where you have to see Mahomes and the Chiefs dynasty all the time. But if you keep, going through the process, keep building a good program, you should be okay.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I know the game for Bill fans was disappointing because it's Super Bowl or bust every year and you have Josh Allen. But when you look at this season for Buffalo, they still exceed expectations. And I'll build off Riv's sentiment where this team needs to have a big splash in the draft, right? This last April, they traded with the Chiefs to give them Xavier Worthy at the 20th overall pick and then move back to the second round to get Keon Coleman. And when you look at these last few Bills drafts, Dalton Kincaid had a good rookie year, but him and Keon Coleman's were relative non-factors for the majority of this game. And it was players like Matt Collins who have kind of been, I guess you could say around the NFL kind of journeyman who are stepping up big time. Khalil Shakir, day 3 pick, stepping up. He's been clearly their most established receiving weapon. To build off of that, Buffalo really just needs that big splash in the receiving department, because if you're not going to have those easy buttons, which stem from premier coaching on both sides of the ball, you're going to need to have more talent in those key situational moments.
That was perfectly said, John. Now, Riv and Drew, I know you guys are very ecstatic. Dels, I'm not sure how happy you are about this, but
our Eagles, baby, we're going to the
Philadelphia Eagles have won. Now, Riv, is this the perfect case scenario? Like, I know you wanted the Bills to win, right? But this is your chance to get a rematch on the team that beat your team in the Super Bowl. So, do you feel a little bit good about this matchup because this is the Eagles' chance to get revenge, and also speak to how they beat the Commanders?
No, I don't feel good because I wanted to see both my teams in the Super Bowl. That would have been
Real?
dope for me. I wanted to see Eagles Bills. I've been yelling for it for like the past 10, 15 weeks of the NFL season. So it's unfortunate, but I get to get a rematch. I get to get some get back, get some revenge, and I feel like we are so much better than what we showed in 2022. Just from a roster standpoint. So I'm excited about the matchup. Now, talking about that ass whooping we just gave. For me personally, I never felt like this is the least worry I felt walking into a playoff game, just because of the fact that it's not even no shade or disrespect to the Commanders. We've seen them twice. I've watched how both games went. I felt comfortable that we should have won both games. This game was the same way. I felt offensively we can get it going. I felt like offensively if they try to stop the run, we have the weapons where if Kellen Moore, which by the way, this was his best game called all year, like by far and away, his most important moment of the season. He, I guess, waited for his time to shine, and he called out his best plays. And this was our first game, really, where I felt like the run game and the pass game were clicking. They were both simultaneously working together. We had Smitty in the run game a little bit. We had Dallas on some screen routes. It was dope to see. So and I never felt that this Commanders team they were just devoid of talent. They didn't have the talent output to really come to play against us defensively. I felt like we would get stops, whether it be turnovers or just getting 3 and outs, which in this game were a lot of turnovers that, like Nick Sirianni told the reporter, we practice punching the ball out of the ball player's hands. That's what we practice. So we got a lot of those this game. And then offensively, we put on a show. Jalen Hurts played his best game of the season, saved it up for this moment, exactly what we needed. And this is exactly what we've been, I want to say me and Dell specifically, what we've been asking for. Make the right pass. Don't hold on to the ball too long. Make quick decisions. Read the field. Read the field well. This is what we ask for, and if you can do that, this is the type of performance you can get with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. And then the offensive line, as banged up as it was, still put on a clinic. Shout out to Jonathan Allen. Shout out to Frankie Louisville. They made some plays, but this was belt to ass. This was big bro to little bro. This is something that we had to do, and now we're the champions again.
Dels, I just got one question, bro. What do you have to say? What do you have to say, Mr. Dels?
I think it's rhetorical.
I don't know. Is it rhetorical? I don't know.
Felt rhetorical.
No, it was rhetorical. It was,
Okay,
but my connection also at the same time, if you would have answered, it would have been hilarious. But it's just perfect to me that what I've said is when you call in his number, he's going to be there ready for you. That's what I've been constantly saying because they realize we have Saquon Barkley, who's in the midst of the best running back season we've ever seen. You have LT going for 28 touchdowns, 1,800 yards. But now you have Saquon Barkley rushing for over 2,000. And now we're talking about the leader in most 60-plus yard touchdowns in a season. He has been otherworldly. Saquon's been amazing. But when you need Jalen Hurts to play at the highest of levels, he can have a performance like today. Now, the Commanders' defense isn't great. We've known that. But again, we saw them play pretty great against the Detroit Lions. Great, make timely plays. The thing is, Jalen Hurts takes care of the football. That is a constant reoccurrence. And every time I talk about Jalen Hurts, he plays smart football. Now, today he was great as a passer. I mean, what more can you ask for? Over 100 passing rating, goes for 246, a nice passing touchdown. I won't count the 2 tush pushes. He had his own rushing touchdown of his own. So 2 touchdowns, 4 total, like 4 total, but 2 real touchdown haters. Jalen Hurts haters have to wait at least 2 weeks before they can say anything about Jalen Hurts in a negative light. This was a near perfect performance by Jalen Hurts. The Eagles dominated on all facets. Credit to Jaden Daniels. He tried to make as many plays as he could. Young buck having maybe the greatest rookie season in the history of the game. His players didn't help him out. 3 turnovers that he had no fault of. Maybe you look at the Eckler that he shorted a little bit. Eckler had to fall down. Then the defender was able to get on Eckler and make a play regardless. You trust Eckler to hold on there. You have to respect what the Philadelphia Eagles have done this season. I know we all do. But all I'm saying is, Mr. Dels, you fell off. And it hurts because you kind of put me on. You're kind of the originator of the Jalen Hurts fan club. And you fell off. How does that feel?
It feels fine because I love Jalen Hurts. I got nothing against him.
Riv, do you care? Riv, like, be honest. Does this matter to you at
Love,
all?
I didn't think he was gonna say love. That
He loved
I got
him
nothing
now.
against Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts.
Oh, man.
I don't.
Again.
Listen, I went
I
into the
expected
Bills
that.
Chiefs
I
game rooting
expected- I
against
have
Josh
nothing
Allen.
against him.
I was not going into this Eagles Commanders game rooting against Jalen Hurts. You got me all the way.
No, but you would have been a big. Oh, if he failed, Drew. I've been telling you this all along.
I didn't think he was going to fail against the
better
Commanders.
than Jalen Hurts.
This game was pretty easy. I mean, this was a team that's been dominant all season long in the Eagles, and a team that got really hot in the Washington Commanders. You know, I think on both sides of the ball. We talk about Jalen Hurts first because I think that's the story of this game. This was, Riv said it, his best game of 2024-2025 season. This was his best playoff game since the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs a few seasons ago. This was the Jalen Hurts we saw for a majority of the 2022 season where the passing game was clicking, and they were really relying on the passing game more than the rush in this. Like Saquon had 115 plus yards, but it was only like 15 carries. It's not like a 25 to 30 carry Saquon game like we've seen in these past couple of weeks. Jalen Hurts, number one thing he did, though, he didn't take bad sacks. He took 2 sacks today. One of them I didn't think was his fault. Pressure got into his face right away. Before he even caught the ball, he was basically sacked. And then there was another sack he took maybe in like the third quarter where he had some time, but whatever. That was really like his only negative play. Outside of that, he was fucking amazing. He was quick. He was making smart decisions. He had some big plays like to A.J. Brown down the left side of the field. This is the Jalen Hurts that we had seen over these last couple of years, a bit more sporadic than we saw in 2022. This is the Jalen Hurts that had shown to be capable of. And they want to win the Super Bowl. If they want to beat the Chiefs, he has to do this again. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he won't. But I'm saying you can't go into next week expecting that Saquon Barkley is going to get the ball 30 times and Jalen Hurts go out there and have 150 yards. We saw a couple years ago, Jalen Hurts went out there and had one of the best games we've ever seen a quarterback have. And it still wasn't enough. They still ended up losing 38-35. I think having this game, though, is so important. Having the confidence going into the Super Bowl where you're having probably your best passing game all season, if not at least for the last 2 to 3 months against an opponent like the Commanders who are red hot, who just turned over the Detroit Lions 4 or 5 times. But Drew, I think that's the biggest separator between Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts, because I feel like Goff and Hurts were kind of in the same bucket this season. Jared Goff, maybe he gets the ball out quicker, but when the turnovers come for Jared Goff, they come in bunches. And Jalen Hurts has done a great job, really, for a majority of the season. Outside of the first 4 weeks, he's done a really good job of taking care of the football. Has not had many fumbles, has not had many interceptions. My biggest knock on him were just the sacks he were taking. Like the sacks against the Rams, I thought were fucking pitiful. That was my main takeaway. Sacks against the Packers, I thought weren't great as well, but the Rams one really stuck out to me. But overall, this is the Jalen Hurts that I saw, and I told y'all, man, this is a franchise quarterback.
Oh, you told us, but then you just completely went back on your word.
I don't think I ever fell off of Jalen Hurts. I think all season long, I just told you guys what his negatives were and what I expect him to be better at. When I first started talking about Jalen Hurts, I said, my biggest appointment with Jalen Hurts is he has not developed in the way I expected him to. After that 2022 season, he looked like a bona fide top 8 to top 7 quarterback. In 2023, we could talk about the play caller, Brian Johnson. Sure, if you want to throw that year out the window, fine. This season, I thought he was more or less a game manager. And if that's what he has to do to win, fine, because that's what happened. They're in the Super Bowl. Good for him. That's exactly what they needed. And like Drew mentioned, in the biggest game, he stepped up. Although they put up 55 points, right? He's going to have to do it again. But my biggest gripe with him was just the issues that persisted in 2022 were still the issues that persisted this year. I thought he bailed out of the pocket too quick. I thought he took too many bad sacks. That was really my only gripe. And that was me falling off of Jalen Hurts, was just kind of being honest about his game. I understand today's day and age, you say one negative thing, you become a hater. Oh my God, it's so bad. You said he was this, this,
it's
and that.
one now.
But he had a great game today. I got nothing to say.
And listen, hold on, Joel. Speak on that bitch ass nigga Terry McLaurin getting mossed up. Interception, boy. 1-on-1. That was 1-on-1. No, it was no safety help. It was no safety help. It was a good ball. That was 1-on-1. And you know what QM did? Oh, Guantanamo Bay, bitch ass nigga. That's what he did. So I want you to take that L. Nice little spanking. Your boy Terry, he played a cool little game, but you know,
it was a cool catch. It was a cool catch.
It was cool. Like it was cool.
A nice cool catch
nice
and run.
It was a cool catch.
Get it right. Catch and run.
Yeah.
Catch and run.
The interception was better.
I'll be honest.
Walk off after the interception. Did you see the walk off after the fronting on him?
Riv, let me be honest with you.
Locked them up too.
That interception that Quinyon Mitchell had, I did not see because I was at Jess's sister's house and the game was a blowout. So I started driving back to the Airbnb because I had to check in and I heard about it, but I didn't see it. So
Pull it up. Pull it up.
I don't even care about it.
I'll happily watch your
I don't
game.
even care about it.
I'll
I
happily
will,
watch
I
your
will,
game.
I will pull it up in just a minute, just for you to get you that satisfaction. But you've come a long way, Mister. From Terry
locked him up
McLaurin is
again.
barely a dude, barely a wide receiver one, to he had an All-Pro year. So thank you. It took you this long to finally say something negative about Terry McLaurin. It took you two bets that you lost this year. It took you screaming matches between you and I, where you lied on my name when I said I'd take DJ Moore over Terry McLaurin. I never said that. So it took you a lot of time to get to this point.
Hand up to God. You was right about Terry. His breakout year of 1,100 yards was adorable. I want to point that out. That shit is adorable. And this is guys like that who get 1,100 Q. I will also say this. QM has now locked him up twice. And you got to hold that to the grave, brother. You didn't watch the second half.
Watch the film.
You didn't watch the game. You just said
I ain't talking about this. I'll talk about the first game. He was bracketed.
This is what matters.
Oh, man.
He was look at that interception. He wasn't even bracketed. It was one-on-one. Grown man versus grown man.
I believe
not no weak ass 1,100 yard. That's what happens when you get them 1,100 yard guys. That's what happens when they go one-on-one.
Terry had 13 touchdowns. Don't be that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yo, John, mind your business.
What do you mean? He's part of the conversation, Riz.
Like, John, this was a one-on-one.
I'm just a fly on the wall, man.
What's wrong with this guy?
He's speaking. He's moderating this because he says that you're not being genuine about Terry McLaurin. That's what it is. Now, Dels, I can't believe that you, of all people, did not realize that the reason why Hurts wasn't playing his best football was because he didn't need to play his best football, motherfucker. That's why we saw in this game. Drew tried to tell you about it, right? He tried to tell you Hurts wasn't playing well because he understands I got a great team. I don't need to play well. I don't need to do it. That's why. That's why. But, I want to say this about the Eagles. It's a great football team all around. They got stars. It's loaded. It's really loaded with talent. This game, I look at the score 55-23. I don't know about you guys. It didn't feel like that type of game for most of the game. I thought that the Commanders, there were moments where I was like, the game is over. And then, they might be back in the game. Look at the first fumble. Let me talk. The first fumble happened.
My fault.
You were up 12. You were up 12. Okay, but
we'll let you finish.
First fumble, it was 7-3. The Eagles were leading. The Commanders fumbled. That led to an Eagles touchdown. Then later, the next fumble happened when the Commanders were down 12-20. That led to Eagles points, and the Commanders still scored before the end of the first half to cut the lead down to 12. Then I'm looking at in the second half, both teams start off with the punt. You both punt the ball, then the Eagles score, then the Commanders score. It's 34-23. The Commanders force a punt, and then they fumble. They were driving down the field, and then they fumble. I thought the Commanders shot themselves in the foot, and the Eagles deserve 100% credit. And really, I think more than anything, if you're an Eagles fan, you are really feeling happy about the offensive performance because not only did they dominate on the ground, but Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal game. I could even go as far as say it was a flawless football game. He played out of his mind. But the Commanders, if I'm a Commanders fan, I'm kind of like, I don't think we even gave ourselves a chance in this game. Like too many turnovers. We didn't even give Jaden a chance to get to the moment to where it's a close game because they had too many fumbles. And then he threw the interception late. I felt like the game really got out of hand when the Commanders were already desperate. They were down 2 scores. They needed to go for it on every single fourth down, and that gave the Eagles great field position to keep on scoring. But really, I thought the Commanders really didn't give themselves much of a chance, and we know the defense's liability. Marshawn Lattimore, his injury is still lingering probably. That's what it seems like to me. He got dominated by A.J. Brown, by Mike Evans. He just really hasn't been good as of recently, but I walk away from that game and I say I think the Commanders left a lot out there on the field, and they just turned the ball over and were too undisciplined because even on those turnovers, they had the Eagles twice on 3rd and long situations. Mike Sanders still hitting Saquon Barkley when he's already out of bounds. It's a ticky-tack play, but I thought that was a penalty. And then the pass interference on Marshawn Lattimore in the end zone against Smitty that led to a touchdown. Like, even with the turnovers, the Commanders defense had the Eagles offense in some third and long situations, and undisciplined football, penalties and turnovers, I thought gave the Commanders no chance in this game. And you had to play a perfect game to beat the Eagles, and they played like far from it. And you see, when you play this type of game against Philly, it could get this ugly.
Absolutely. I'll start on the Eagles side of things. Oh, Riv, you go first.
Just a quick question, Joel. Just a quick question. When did you stop feeling like the game was out of reach? Like, when did you feel like the game was over?
The Austin Eckler fumble.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't feel like we were, because I feel like you made it seem like it was a lot of just Washington fumbling and not us like making some plays.
You did make plays. They also need to protect the ball.
Okay. Just two quick questions, that's all.
Man, I'll tell you guys one thing. This was easily the second best playoff game Jalen Hurts has ever had. For him to play as consistent, clean, on time, it was really an
John's
example.
another hater. Dumbass.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm a hater, and I'm going to defend Dells because Dells is a Jalen Hurts.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Because
Yeah.
I listen to every episode.
My brother,
I've
man.
listened
I'm
to
at
every
party.
episode.
John, I'd push you too.
Oh shit!
I'd push you too,
You know,
brother.
fuck you. I'd push you first. You didn't have a chance to. You run away down.
I'd push
I
you
think
too,
Dallas has kind of pointed out some areas, and it's objectively true. Jalen Hurts did not improve off of a clear MVP campaign. But in playoff moments like this, he has stepped up and shown that he can get back to that level that he was at in 2022. And I don't think it's necessarily fallen off if you're going to highlight that a player's not playing as well as he once did, and a player maybe hasn't ascended the way you would expect. Now, on the Commander side of things, they did make some plays today. They took a lot of shots, and that's been what's really epitomized the season for Washington. They have laid it all out on the line. You go for it 6 times in 4th down. You successfully fake a punt. But as you guys highlighted, you will not beat this Eagles team if you fumble 3 times. And on top of that, this Philadelphia defense is opportunistic. They did a great job today on third. For the most part, the Commanders still had big plays. But of course, when the time was needed, especially early in this game, to get themselves a lead, the Eagles defense just showed how much better that secondary has been. But on the other side of things, I think this game just showed how much they can improve and build off with their defense. Just Saquon had a monster game, 3 touchdowns, of course, but them not being able to wrap him up in his first touchdown is kind of another example of this team being young, maybe not fully ready for the moment just yet, because it is their first year in the playoffs in a long time. But I'll just say for Philadelphia, when they play like this, when Jalen Hurts plays at this level of a top 10 quarterback, because that's what he was today, they look like a team that can go par with Kansas City. That is how complete they are. And 230 rushing yards for Saquon, of course. Will Shipley came in, had 70 himself. And then lastly, just this receiving game, finding some momentum coming into the Super Bowl. It's going to be a good rematch here in the Super Bowl. And of course, I don't think we can overlook A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith playing a lot better today, kind of stepping up, because last couple of weeks, their passing game wasn't quite there, not exactly what you'd expect, but this was a good get-right game for them. And, of course, that's what they're going to need going up against the Chiefs defense that is way better than this Washington.
I'll be honest. Remember that when we played the Vikings in the NFC Championship game, and like Case Keenum's like first play was a pick 6?
Yeah.
When Saquon got the run, I thought it was over after that. It just felt like the vibes were like, it was just like, bro, there's no way they're gonna beat us, bro.
Yeah, there were just multiple times in that game where I felt like it was over. The Saquon Barkley touchdown, it felt like, oh, this is going to be a long day for Washington.
Oh my!
Then when you make them fumble and you score a touchdown and you're up 2 scores, it kind of felt like it was going to get ugly. But Washington kept fighting back. And, I think despite the outcome, Jaden Daniels really played a tremendous game. He had an interception late in the game where everything was kind of out of reach. But I thought he did as much as he possibly could control in this game to keep it as close as it possibly could. But his teammates just really let him down.
Listen, Philadelphia's going to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, another Super Bowl. And I'll be honest with you. He's going to win it, but damn it, I'm going to root my balls off for him to do it.
But you said he is going to win it?
Oh, no, I said I don't know if he's going to win it.
Oh,
I'm going to be rooting my balls off for him.
I thought you said I think he's going to win it, but I'll be rooting my balls off for him. That's
We're winning it, bro. We're winning it all. This 3-piece shit dead it. Kansas City has never, ever seen a man like Saquon Barkley. I want y'all to know that from the bottom of my heart.
They saw Christian McCaffrey last year.
The Chiefs haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher
Saquon
in
is better.
18 straight games.
Okay.
This year, Saquon is better than last year.
Wait, you said they haven't allowed what, Joel?
A 100-yard rusher in 18 straight games via
brother.
the chat.
You might as well cut that shit.
Joel, pretty
Throw it in the
easy.
mud.
Drew, you said this was better than LT's 28
It
touchdown
is,
year.
but like pretty easy. CMC was a fucking he was so
CMC
good.
was really good.
He was
Saquon's
yeah,
fucking
you're
unbelievable.
right.
Saquon
You're
is
right.
a demon,
You're right.
bro.
You're right. I'm sorry. It's just that CMC was so deep. Like he was a
He
demon.
was
What?
a dog, for sure.
It just Saquon shit just feel better.
That's you know what it is. It's just when you are in in a class with like all-time greats, it's like your brain kind of held you back. But in reality, Saquon Barkley's been the one.
Who do you guys think has the more to gain from winning a Super Bowl? Saquon Barkley or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
So I think it's always the quarterback.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. If Saquon wins this Super Bowl, though, I think it's in a similar conversation with Cooper Kupp's best wide receiver season ever. And if he really caps it off with a Super Bowl, maybe a Super Bowl MVP, also his birthday, which would be pretty awesome, February 9th. We're talking about like the icing on the cake, best running back
Bro,
season
that's
ever.
it's also like a big fuck you to like the whole world who thinks running backs aren't that valuable,
Yep.
and the New York Giants who essentially said, "Bro, we don't think you're what we're supposed to pay you. You could go." You know, that's if he wins it and wins Super Bowl MVP, that's just like the league is gonna change, bro. Like there's gonna be a few teams that kind of gear towards that. Maybe running backs are important. You know, there's always like a shift when a new team, a new style, or a old style that got lost kind of wins it. And I think this old rugged style of smash mouth football, run the ball, and have a nasty defense. Listen, man. Saquon,
So,
I love that brother.
This is I was
thought-
talking to Carson about this. We were talking about the same question because I think this season it falls in line with Terrell Davis's and what Saquon is doing right now. Just in 3 playoff games, Saquon Barkley has 442 rushing yards and he has 5 touchdowns scored in 3 games.
That's ridiculous, bro.
He's a legend.
He only had 15 carries today, too. They didn't even like Will Shipley at the end, like ripped off like a 60-yard run. He could have had like
we had Will
180.
Shipley out there making moves. It's the best offensive line I've ever seen in my life.
No,
I think
yeah,
it depends.
Saquon-
It depends how it happens. If Saquon goes out there and rushes for like 200, then obviously it's going to be Saquon. But if Jalen Hurts goes out there and has a game like he did in 2022, and Saquon will never be an afterthought, but if Hurts has that type of game and Saquon has like 100 yards and a touchdown, it's going to be looked at as Hurts.
Yeah, Dels, don't show up if that happens.
I don't really. I
Don't
hope
show
he
up.
does.
Dels, wear your Jalen Hurts jersey to the podcast.
No.
when that happens.
Joel and I already spoke. He's giving that to me if and when they win.
No way.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. But honestly, the Saquon Giants kind of feud is obviously people shit on all the time. And obviously don't give away Saquon because he's great and you have no good players. So you should resign him. But once you found out it was Philly he was going to, once you found out that he's going to go to my division rival who has a top 3 offensive line in football, who was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and on like a bad year, they went to the wild card round. I don't know, man. Like if he would have went to like Carolina's offering him 17 a year. It's like, all right, what are we going to do? But the Eagles, it's brutal.
Yeah, the chat just said that Terrell Davis's was more impressive, and it was. The stats are pretty.
You didn't even
impressive.
see it.
But look at the numbers, dude.
Could've.
And you
Fuck
could
them.
see it on YouTube
Fuck.
on highlights.
No, Joel.
Riv,
You watch the whole game on
Riv,
YouTube.
Davis.
You
Hold
can
on.
watch the full game on YouTube.
Josh, what number was Terrell Davis?
Terrell Davis, number 30.
Okay, well done.
Yeah,
Didn't know you had that in your bag.
Riv.
You had that in your back.
Riv. John Elway at that point was pretty washed. He wasn't Elway. Terrell
wasn't.
Davis carried that team.
He did.
Saquon probably you could say carried our offense.
Oh no, Hurts showed up today,
Dude,
friend.
come on, like
Yeah, showed up today.
Oh, look at you. Jalen Hurts clears 1990s Elway.
That ass.
I agree. Probably. I don't know, but like
Okay. So we got super chats here. This is from AD. Facts. Josh DeMar DeRozan Allen has no
Horrible
MVPs,
comparison.
no division titles, and the worst playoff
has-
rivalry in
Horrible.
NFL history against Mahomes.
AD, thank you for the money. The only difference with this is Josh Allen plays pretty well in the playoffs. DeRozan has quite literally never played
He's
well.
one of the biggest playoff underperformers in recent NBA history. Josh Allen in the playoffs has been one of the
If you would have
best
said
performers
Embiid,
in
he
the
probably
era.
cooked or somebody.
Would you
Yeah,
say
he's
Josh
been-
Allen underperformed his last 3 big playoff performances? I'm asking a
Not
question.
last year.
Underperformed is the
Team
wrong
versus
word.
last season.
Hey,
How would you know?
John, let me ask you a question, though. That throw over the middle of the field, he's Josh Allen. Wouldn't you argue he should hit that throw?
Yeah, but
So
that doesn't
that-
define the
wait,
game.
is that-
though.
Now,
One
today,
play doesn't define the performance.
You have 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 2 timeouts, or 3 timeouts, whatever it is. Don't
3
you
timeouts.
assume he should go and get that job done? Now, also, let me ask, against the Bengals at home, can you argue he should have
Terrible.
got that done?
That game was
I'm
ass.
asking.
I'll be
Those
honest.
Hold on,
13
hold on.
seconds
Question.
against KC, the biggest moments, probably less appealing.
First of all,
than-
I don't
you know what
want to
mean?
hear.
I don't know.
I don't want to hear nothing from a guy whose quarterback never shows up. That's number one.
Who?
Number two.
Who?
Number two.
Who? Oh my.
Drew.
Oh
Number
my.
two.
No, because
number
let's
two.
talk about who didn't show up. Lamar
No,
Jackson went down the
number-
damn field and scored and should have tied the game.
Against-
Josh
yeah,
Allen couldn't do
against the
that.
Bills
Josh Allen
defense.
couldn't get
Congrats.
3.
Congrats.
He couldn't get 3.
Congrats. This is when we lose all objectivity. I see what's going on.
No,
We
because
gotta-
I tried to be objective with you. I let you be objective, Riv. I tried to let you be objective and said, Riv, did Josh Allen choke? And you said no.
What it's because you're trying to compare it to the Lamar situation. It's a different
Because
situation.
Lamar went down the field when time was ticking and scored. Josh Allen could have done that. He didn't.
I don't think that would be called the choke.
I think if Lamar Jackson, if that was Lamar instead of Josh Allen, oh my fucking God. He's still getting shit on for the shit he did last week. And I don't think he
Yes,
choked.
because
Understandable.
he turned the ball over.
Josh Allen had fucking 2 dropped
Yeah,
interceptions and 2
I
fumbles.
don't
But
know
he
what
had
the
0
hell
turnovers. Josh
I
Allen
don't
had
know
0
what you want to
turnovers.
do with that
Josh
information.
Allen had 0 turnovers, but he was actually gift wrapping interceptions, and the defense wasn't capitalizing too. We
What
can
do
be
you,
partial.
what do you want me to do with that information, though?
Fair. I
Like,
I
be
would act the
objective. Be
same
like,
way.
oh yeah, Josh probably should have turned the ball over a couple of times.
I
You
said
want to know
that,
what's
though.
the difference? You want to know what's the difference, Dels? Is that Josh Allen on that quarterback seek where he jumped over the defensive line, he fumbled and he got it back. He's not
That's
like
what
Lamar
counts.
Jackson just letting it slip through his fingers and letting the defense get it. No,
Yeah,
Josh
my
Allen's gonna
bad.
make sure he protects
Fuck
the
out
ball.
of here. Bro wanted to put him as the best quarterback in the NFL. He's got 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes,
Listen.
3 timeouts. He can't get 3. Fuck
You
out of here.
guys-
I
you
never want to
guys-
hear that shit again. Never.
You guys can argue about losers, Josh Allen, Lamar
Time out. Wait a
Jackson.
minute. Wait a
All
minute.
this proved to
Oh,
me, Riv,
oh.
is that Joe Burrow's the second best quarterback in the league. He's the only one that could win in these moments. He's the only one that could win at KC on the road in the playoffs. He's a winner, unlike Allen and Lamar. You give Joe Burrow a great defense, something better than he had this year. He was in the
Yeah,
playoffs. He was supposed to be the MVP.
Why are we
this
talking
year.
about a guy who didn't make the
Yeah,
playoffs?
he's missed the
this year?
playoffs half his
I
career.
don't know. He brought Joe Burrow up.
Like,
very
why-
well.
He's a real
Playoffs
winner.
half his career.
5 playoff wins. He has more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson in 2 postseasons. What are you talking about, Dels?
Natural run.
He's beat Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. That's what this postseason showed me, is that he's clearly the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Anyway,
Shout out
Anyway.
AD for the donut, but the right Josh Allen comparison will be Luka or maybe even Clyde Drexler. Even then, I don't know. if
I
Clyde
just
Drexler-
can't believe we're calling that last year's performance. He underperformed.
Hey, scored
that, what,
hey.
20 was it 20 points they put up? 20 to 27? That was the final?
Oh, yeah. Are we doing total points? Is that what makes it an end
His
all?
foot
like
be all?
got
that.
hit, but he
Like
missed
that.
the touchdown. Did he miss a touchdown in the end zone?
He
Rib?
missed
Joe
the
Burrow doesn't
touchdown.
miss that.
He did miss a touchdown.
Joe Burrow doesn't miss that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I thought he. First of all,
You
I
could
thought he
argue
played
he
a good
missed the
game.
touchdown to Jamar.
Wait, versus the Rams?
We got sacked.
why are you
Oh,
talking
come
about
on.
somebody who didn't make the
Yeah,
playoffs?
he's missed the playoffs 3 times.
Yeah, brother.
And
Like if you don't
Stop
make the
talking
playoffs,
about
defense
Josh-
doesn't mean
if
it's
you
Stop
don't make
talking
the
about Josh
playoffs, don't
Allen,
get in these
man.
conversations.
What are you talking about?
Like,
Stop talking about this loser. All right, Red Hood goes, what's Dalton charity would like to donate asking for the flock? Doesn't feel good when your tight end drops it. We beat ourselves. The Bills are frauds.
That's actually pretty funny. Obviously, they're talking about Mark Andrews getting all the donations from Bills Mafia. That's interesting. Something to find out. Dalton Kincaid, I'm not putting this on him. I'm not. He should have caught the ball, though. No doubt.
Bill scored 24 last year. Just want to give him, I want to give him every point. 24 points. Great job.
How much did the Ravens score?
This past week, what? 20,
Well, Riv,
last year against
Riv,
the Chiefs.
Lamar Jackson is 0-5 in games where the opposing team scores 14 points or more. Just letting you know.
Mm.
I'll be honest,
Oh,
Josh
no.
is probably the same vibe too. I think.
Yeah. Not that good. But yeah, Dalton Kincaid donates to his charity. Mason goes, where do the Bills go from here? Even though everyone is tired of the Chiefs, I'm not going to complain that we got another classic. Much love, my guys. Shout out to Mason. We did get a great game. It was a thrilling back and forth game for the most part. I think that the Bills have to ask themselves that question internally. Maybe firing Sean McDermott might be too bizarre. So I think an unbizarre solution would be, I think in this game, what really got exposed for the Bills is they don't have a guy at receiver. Like, I know they had one in Stephon Diggs, and now they have more of a committee group, but they really need another wide receiver that can just beat man coverage, because I was kind of annoyed at all the times that Josh Allen was targeting Keon Coleman with Trent McDuffie draped on him down the field. I just don't think those are high, efficient targets. So I think the Bills need more receiving talent. Amari Cooper's a free agent. Really, outside of Khalil Shakir, I don't think anybody on the Bills is like a real difference maker at the receiver spot.
Well said. Matt Collins is the wide receiver too right now.
Shout out to Matt
How much
Collins.
help does that fucking need, man? All
Yeah,
pro
he's on
running
the field
back,
'cause he
elite
runs
offensive
nuts.
line, one of the best play callers in the NFL. Traded
Didn't you
for
guys
Amari
have more All
Cooper.
Pros?
Yeah.
Didn't you guys
Jesus
have more All
Christ,
Pros?
man. Beginning of the
How
year,
many
offensive
All-Pros
line,
did
everyone
Bills
told me it
Didn't
was
you guys
dog
have
shit.
more All Pros?
Riv, did the Bills have any All Pros?
At one, the quarterback.
Oh.
That was it.
James Cook
No.
is basically an all-pro.
Stop talking
No,
to this
he's
Jets
not.
fan,
He's
man.
basically an all-pro.
James Cook had an incredible
James
season.
Cook.
All-pro type talent.
All right, fellas, what do you guys think that the Bills should do?
We answered this already.
We talked about it. Just hope one year you beat
need
them,
no
man.
draft.
Get some turnovers. Josh Allen score a touchdown every time you get the ball. Like, that's really what you have to do.
Go to church, go to whichever building of worship you desire, and ask the Lord to bless the Bills
Playing
with better
dynasty,
luck.
man.
Trade
Jake
for
Clark.
Garrett Wilson.
Buffalo tight end dropped their season away. Absolute poetry. Joshy boy thought that the game manager stuff was going to work against KC. W, get back for LJ8. We ride the Lamar train again next year, Dells. No pause.
Another quarterback winning is get back is nuts. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, do you notice how we just mentioned two quarterbacks that had nothing to do with this game? In this game, you
Why
realize
would we
that?
talk about Mahomes? What's there to talk about?
I'm with you.
I mean, that he clears. It's
I'm sick of
unfortunate,
that
but
Well,
guy.
he's on. I
true.
mean, I think what's started to talk about Mahomes is that this the highest peak of any quarterback in NFL history.
Ever.
There's nobody that's done what he's done in a 7-year span. You can argue Tom Brady with longevity, but the best quarterback in the history of the NFL is Patrick Mahomes. We're just talking about what we're watching with our eyes. If you want to talk about accolades, just like the Michael Jordan versus LeBron argument, I guess, you can use that. But listen, I think that the longevity thing doesn't really work here. I think Brady definitely is the greatest, most accolades, but in terms of the best, I think everybody would take Mahomes on their team before Tom Brady 10 times out of 10.
It's good of you to say all this and then pick against him 5 weeks in a row.
Because wins are not a quarterback stat.
But Mahomes, I mean, like his whole thing is winning. It's like
And it
his
wasn't
whole
5 weeks in a row. I
thing.
picked him
5
against
weeks
the
in a row, you
Texans.
picked against him.
This is what
No, he didn't pick
weeks.
the Texans. He didn't pick the Texans. He didn't pick the Texans.
Oh,
What
excuse me.
surprises me
Apologize.
is 5
Texas,
weeks.
it's not like a gimme. Fair enough. You're right. That's facts. My bad.
Hey.
Sorry. So 4 of the last 5 weeks. So my bad. Apologize.
Well, I said the quarterback that will win would be who has the ball last, and Mahomes technically had the ball last. So,
no.
yeah.
Yeah, most teams I feel like win who just need the
Yeah,
ball.
usually
That's it.
you need out. Yep.
Yes.
that too.
Whoever kneels at last is winning. But no, yeah, I think good for you, Jay Clark, that as a Lamar Jackson fan, you don't have to see Josh Allen go to the Super Bowl.
Thank God.
Now, Red Hood goes, Josh Allen is playing scared next year. He will get exposed. He's the worst out of the big four. There's a reason why he's only throwing screens. He doesn't trust himself.
Hey, that first drive, shit, man, it felt like he didn't belong there. He looked like
2019
dog
shit in
shit.
his
Josh
pants.
Allen on that drive.
And even that second drive, he ended up dropping the snap that took him in a third and long. Third and long, they throw to Shakir. He could have ran upfield. Instead, he tries to run around the defender. They have to kick 3 instead of potentially getting
Right.
6. It's things like that you can't do.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest. Herbert hasn't been better than him in mad long. I don't know why he said that.
Well, Big 4 is not Herbert.
Yeah, he not in Big 5 because Stafford's not.
Oh shit. Oh, who's the big four? Oh, the guy who didn't make the playoffs, Joe Burrow. Forgot. Sorry. Forgot.
Saucy goes, the rivalry is like LeBronto. One-sided.
This isn't a rivalry. Like, I don't want to hear the Bills and the Chiefs being called a rivalry.
Can't be.
For it to be a rivalry, you need to at least, especially in football, have won one game. There's no rivalry. It's over.
Cook.
This
Yeah, I
is
think-
point every single time.
Yeah, I think what's
What you
unfortunate is that,
what
like,
you throwing up, John?
What up?
What you
So
throwing
what,
up? What
Like
was
big
that?
bro, little bro, like you almost got it. Like
Nah, what
fishing,
you was doing this?
it's close. I don't know. You're oh yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Don't get him in
Oh,
trouble.
You're on the same page.
Don't get
now.
him in trouble.
But
John,
it's
you
like
was
a fishing
doing
rod.
this.
It's like no. It's like a fishing rod. You know what I'm saying? Where Chiefs are like, oh, almost got it. Not quite.
Jimmy
there.
J said Bengals in tough division. The Ravens are in the same division.
You're in the same division.
It's not our fault. The Jets
he has
and-
the worst team, Dallas. He has the worst front office. Are you going to argue that the Bengals front office has anything on the
Look,
Ravens?
that
front
Ravens
office?
defense for the first fucking 10 weeks was not that much different from Cincy's.
Dude, they had the number one defense in the league for
Well,
against the run.
Joel, question. Just want to ask you a question. If the Bengals and Buffalo swapped this year, would the Bengals have made the playoffs?
100%. Yes. Yeah. They wait. The Bengals would have made the playoffs, or sorry, no. I'm
you
thinking.
so quick to answer.
Sorry,
You don't even know what I asked you.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking that you said if Burrow was on the Bills, if they'd make it. So you're telling me if Josh Allen was on the Bengals?
No, okay, I'm gonna say it again because Dell's understood what I said. If the Bengals and the Bills were to swap schedules this year, so the Bengals are in the AFC East and the Bills are in the NFC North, would the Bengals have made the playoffs? That's what I asked you.
I'm going to
Yeah, I
be
think-
honest. This is a lose-lose. However you shake it, they had a last place schedule. Okay? The Bengals had a last place schedule.
Yeah.
So be mindful of that.
I think the AFC East is just a weaker division, so I think
Yeah.
that they would have made the playoffs. But
Well, the Dolphins have 8 wins.
But the Jets and Dolphins too.
it's a
AFC
weird
East
question,
Wait,
Riff. How about
Didn't the Bengals?
No, I
lose
don't think
to
it was
the
that weird. I
Patriots?
think the Bengals make it pretty easily.
Wait, didn't the Bengals lose to the Patriots?
They
they
did.
did?
They can undoubtedly lose to the Jets. They
Josh
can
Allen
undoubtedly
lost to the
lose Dolphins.
Patriots.
We don't count that.
Technically, I don't even think
Division
you would.
rival.
They're all close games. How about
They
let me ask
didn't
you a
lose
bet-
to the Patriots. Second go round when it didn't matter.
No, I know that's when
Yeah,
they
Oh,
did.
you lied to me. Fucker.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, how about let me ask you a better question, Riff? If Joe Burrow and Josh Allen met in the playoffs, who would win? Oh, we saw
seen
it
that.
already. Okay,
seen it.
next. Sorry, next. Go.
Wait a minute.
CRB goes Washington with Washington losing. Rank these from most to least needs for the Commanders. 1, wide receiver 2 to pair with Terry McLaurin. 2, upgrade the defense. 3, get more protection for Jaden Daniels. Also, I've been following Terry McLaurin since 2020. I think it's number 2. I think it's upgrade the defense.
What do they mean? Wide receiver 2 to pair with Terry. Don't they need a wide receiver 1?
Oh my God, he's getting disrespectful.
That's fun.
Honestly, I think that was crazy. That was crazy.
I'm
I
just
think
playing.
defense is number 1 for them
Yeah.
because Daniel showed them this year, even with Diami Brown or Zacchaeus, whoever you want as wide receiver 2, you can still have a top 5 fucking unit. So I would get him defense. I would get him offensive line. And honestly,
need a
wide
better
receiver,
running
for how
back.
bad it is, that'd be last.
They need a better running back, I feel like. There's going to be a ton in the draft, so you could definitely draft one late in like the 4th, 5th, and be all right. I think you should go all in on defense. Like, I agree with you, Dels. I think you go all in on defense and the offensive line too. But I think you go all in on both. I think the offensive line isn't as big of a need because of Jaden's escapability and his mobility in the pocket. So you can kind of build that up. But I think the defense, listen, I get it. You can't be allowing 30 to 40 to 50 points in playoff games against Detroit, against the Eagles. I get it. They're top offenses with extreme elite talent. But at the same time, if you want to compete in the NFC, what do we talk about the AFC? It's beautiful rosters built throughout, and you have a quarterback that's a legit dude. So just build up a good roster.
Yeah, the defense has to be the biggest priority because they invest in the offensive line for agency. Of course, they can improve the tackles, but they've still had some draft picks there.
Yeah, it's the defense. It's the defensive line. It's maybe a nickel back because you have Lattimore and Sanders still. Depends if you want to play Sanders still on the outside or not. And I think it's a coverage linebacker. I think they got some thumpers in Louvu and Wagner, but you need a coverage guy out there. But yeah, it's pretty clearly the defense. The defense is the weakest link on the team right now. Free Hola 33 goes, Cowboys fans need Mahomes to save us once again.
Cowboys got their issues. Look
What a
yourself
tough
in the
week
mirror.
for Cowboys.
You guys have
Brian
Brian Schottenheimer as the head coach, man. Like, come
I just
on.
can't believe people are going to go into the Super Bowl and root for the Chiefs. That's going to make me sick.
You know, thank you to everybody that's watching the pod right now. We have 867 live viewers.
Shout out to
Gonna
y'all.
We
go
almost
through
had a
these super
K in here.
chats. We did almost have 1,000, and we're gonna go through these super chats just for you guys. Thank you to everybody who's donating. If you guys want a question answered, just make a statement. You guys can donate. This is from Sean Brennan. The only one who knew what was up was the Broncos fan. Shame on all of you for doubting the greatest player of all time. 3-peat coming.
You know, Sean, we say our names every beginning of the episode. At some point, there's got to be a movement where you know his name, man.
I think we understand the sentiment though. Like in this one instance, like I'm gonna give it a pass because like we understand. Like he's saying the only guy who knew the Chiefs or thought the Chiefs would win is a Broncos fan. Like, how did he know? Why
Can we
was
talk
he
about
wrong?
that though? Because a week ago on the show, Joel, you asked me if I was you were the second biggest Chief fan that I knew, and I said no. And then you picked against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. What Chief fan is picking up against their team? Now, I was rooting for the Bills. My Steelers don't go nowhere in the playoffs. We come in, we walk after an hour goodbye.
Cook your
So
match.
the Bills are the team that I root for. I want to see them win. But as a Chief fan, how could you pick against them on Christmas Day or as the Steelers pick against them? Is it you trying to reverse jinx them? Is it you maybe not truly? I want to know because I saw that and I was editing and I said, no. I said, no way you're going to do that to Riv when this is his team because we know you're a Chief fan. We know Drew, he's a Bronco fan taking them. Dell's, I don't know. He knows ball. He'll make what he thinks. But I was disappointed that you went up against your team who you're claiming because you're trying to make your cement your status in Chiefs Kingdom, but I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way.
John, I'm on the verge of tears.
Bro, this is Leonardo taking over the TMNT, kicking Splinter out.
Yep.
Splinter is done. Leonardo is stepping up. John, my nigga. Yes, John. Yes.
You have every right to feel the way you feel.
I'm frustrated.
The Chiefs don't need any of my reverse jinx magic. They have enough help from the referees. I'm just kidding. But no, they don't need any of my help. You know, check the moniker, John. Check the bio, John. That's what I'm gonna say. Listen, Josh Allen had the ball last, and he didn't get it done. You know, today I think the universe was speaking to me because I picked the Bills, but I said there's no way that I can't have any emotional investment on the Chiefs in this game. So I went and I was going to put a bet on FanDuel, but I couldn't get access. They sent me 50 security codes and I kept logging them in and it kept denying me access. So I wasn't even able to emotionally invest myself with betting on the Chiefs. So this was just an all-around bad day for me. I didn't get to bet on Mahomes. I picked against Mahomes, and this just feels the most defeated I felt in rooting for the Chiefs. But we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Super chat, man.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. The Killer Panda goes, Allen is Mahomes' throat goat, not a true rivalry. Skylar Samuels goes, respect to Drew for showing Hurts respect on Twitter. Fly, Eagles fly. Love y'all boys.
Love you, go.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you know, there's a guy here that's clearly a big Eagle supporter. There's a guy here that's clearly not. I'll let you guys figure that out.
It's God's honest truth.
Jeremy Early goes, hold that Allen, just like Lamar.
Hold that L, bro.
Okay, hold that L. Sorry.
Or we just start calling Allens L's. Cool dash.
Oh, I mean, you can't spell
Lamar
Allen without two L's.
You can't spell Lamar without an L. That's a
can't
better
spell
one.
Allen without two L's.
2 L's make a W.
Now, Riv, let me give you an analogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is Donovan Mitchell not scoring 26 points per game this year?
He's taking a back seat in certain games.
Why is Jalen Hurts not playing like 2022 Jalen Hurts?
Teams have figured him out.
No, you just answer your question. You know, he's taking a back seat to a generational running back. Yet for Mitchell, you're giving him grace. But for Hurts, you've been up here with Dells disrespecting the man as an Eagles guy. You haven't been keeping the main thing, have you?
And this is where Joel gets me back, you motherfucker. Keep the main thing the thing, Riv. You're not. Dells, you're not. John, you're not.
I keep it accurate.
Skylar Samuels goes, also Riv, John, and Dell, stop hitting each other. We need y'all for the
Me and John are good. Me and
Notice
John
the
been
trend.
good.
Well,
The
I think
rest
Chelsea
I
had a
can't
healthy
say anything
relationship.
about.
Notice
He told
the
me he wanted to
trend.
kill me over the weekend. So
Yeah,
do with
he
that what
did.
you will.
Yeah, he said that to me too. I don't know what's up with that. But
That's not
Dell's
true.
now your new friends.
First of all, when I told you I could have pushed you, it could have just been a slight little push. Maybe you step back.
That's not holding up.
You don't know
for-
what I was thinking,
Nah,
bro.
bro.
Listen, Skylar, all I can say is notice the 3 names, then look at our skin colors, and then you'll understand the situation.
Yeah. Fucking guy's an idiot.
Why is that
The
about
only the only way you push your brothers is towards success, Riv.
Talk.
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 That's what I meant. That's what
Amen.
I pushed you to be great.
Nope. You wanted me gone.
I pushed you to see if you can fly. I wanted to see you at your best, Dels.
John,
Santos
I would
goes,
definitely push you, and not for the
Yeah.
good reason.
I'll push you first. So you
Oh, I got John.
Santos goes, shout out to Riv Academy.
Fuck Santos.
Shout out to Rib, man. Yeah, so
That's-
you
that's-
uploaded.
Exhibit A. There you go.
Hey, literally, yeah.
No, me and Santos got beef. EB,
Shout out to Hampton Sports. That was cool.
my
Awesome.
dog.
Collab
Snipes goes, Demon May gonna walk him down. And
Great. Now Joel's rock hard.
Oh,
Yep.
Demon
Drake
man.
May or Josh Allen. Let's really talk about it now.
Drake Mayer, Lamar Jackson,
Lamar.
idiot.
That's
Number
not
one
going
grandpa
anywhere.
donated $1.99. Maybe we can
Shout out to
find a
Grandpa.
super chat later because he probably did want to comment something. Or if you're still in the stream, just comment what you wanted to comment originally. We'll read it. Number one grandpa. Connolly 36 goes, only one man can save us now. Bo Nix, baby. Drew, let's go.
My Lord and Savior, please be with the Denver Broncos next year. We're going to be back here. There's only one team that can do it. It's the Denver Broncos. Just saying.
Okay, let's get back into reality. Truth Bearer goes,
Definitely not the
Burrow
Jets.
never made playoffs when Lamar was healthy.
Makes you think.
Have you
makes
ever
you think.
thought that Burrow hasn't been
Noticing.
that healthy either?
Wow.
Makes you think.
It's always something. Joel, enough. I'm fed up. Damn.
Joe Burrow, we all recognize his greatness.
We all don't recognize
do.
shit.
We
We
do.
recognize that he is the worst out of the top quarterbacks.
Jamar
he's
Chase.
not.
right there.
He's part of the top 4 because it's like, like you're
We
not
have to put him
Herbert,
in
but
there.
fuck, sure, here, I guess you're part of the crew, whatever.
Dels, are you a Jalen Hurts fan or are you not?
Of course I am.
Okay. Are you gonna keep the main thing the main thing?
Well, this is the thing, Joel. As a Jalen Hurts fan, I want to see him succeed. When the Eagles succeed and he does like game manager shit, I'm like, I know you could do this, bro. I know you could do this. Go out
If
there
the
and
main
be elite.
thing is
my
winning
God.
playoff games, what has Burrow done better than Lamar? Keep the main thing, right?
Oh,
But he's still lost.
Jamar Chase merchant.
He got to
Evan
the big
McPherson
game.
merchant.
Has Lamar
We're in a room
Jackson
of
ever
merchants.
has Lamar Jackson ever been in the midst of media row answering questions and doing interviews and being a part of the midst? Has he ever been celebrated as an AFC champion? No, he's not. Joe Burrow has been celebrated as an AFC, champion. He has that
Have some
trophy
fucking
in the
respect.
Bengals trophy case right now. They've won an AFC championship.
You know,
You
Dels.
you win a trophy for that.
You know, Dels. You know what I'm starting to realize, man. Maybe both our guys just frauds, man. That's the vibe I'm getting from this
No,
conversation.
because this fucking dude had one little run where his kicker was like hitting 60-yard
Unfortunate.
field goals and his defense was holding opponents to like 15 a game and like, oh, Joe Burrow,
And
oh
he
my
played the
God, you had
Raiders.
like 200 yards in the Super Bowl. Fuck out
Hey,
of here, man.
Dels, you know that historically Lamar Jackson's defense allowed less points per game than Joe Burrow's defense in the playoffs, right?
Nope, doesn't feel like
Oh,
it.
okay. Oh, Jay Clark goes, Joel, that Burrow win against KC was pre-puberty for me. You gotta stop. It
shit
was
was
3
fucking-
years ago.
That shit was the first Trump administration. Goddamn.
I remember it like yesterday. Come on, man. AD Lamar has MVPs. Purdy has a division title. I'm interested to see where this is going. Hurts has division titles. Burrow has a division title. What is Allen team or individual accolades? What is Josh Allen's
fuck?
individual or team accolades?
We over here pumping division titles for individuals.
Talk.
What is going on, man?
Allen's
Well,
got-
I mean, Josh Allen has division titles, so that's kind of nuts.
Allen's-
Okay, this is an
More
interesting
than Purdy
question.
and Burrow and Hurts.
Mine.
This is not a super chat, but I think this is a very interesting question. Sean Holmes goes, I would rather be the Bills of the 90s. They lost 4 straight Super Bowls or Allen Iverson rather than Allen Iverson.
Is he trying to say who's Allen Iverson, Josh?
He'd rather lose 4 straight Super Bowls than just to get there once and lose.
I don't know, man. If I knew I was gonna lose 4 straight, I'm not signing up for it.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I get what he's saying.
Not a chance I'm signing up for 4 straight L's.
I need 4. I would love 4 Super Bowls though.
That would break me.
Nah, actually, I might be Allen Iverson. He's so influential.
Yeah.
And
Burrow got a lot of great
expecting him to win that
nicknames.
chip. You go to 4
Allen
you're
Iverson's
supposed to win
remembered,
one.
celebrated.
He's a staple. He's a staple in the league. Damn, he's a staple in history. You can't talk NBA without AI.
Because you do it once, that 1 year gets hyped up OD. You do it 4 times and you fail 4 times, you're just a failure.
Yeah, you're dead just a failure. Like you're legit looked at as a joke.
Next super chat we
Like
have
Joe Burrow.
is from Mason.
Wow.
Top 5 teams in the NFC going into next season.
Eagles.
Can you say
Top 5 teams. Eagles are definitely one. I think Commanders have to be in that mix.
I put Detroit too.
Thank you.
Detroit. I think San Francisco is going to be back next year.
I agree.
We're here.
San Francisco, Washington,
Sneaky team.
Detroit.
Sneaky
Seattle.
team. Minnesota.
Minnesota, Green Bay. I love Seattle's hire of Clint Kubiak. John, do you want to put Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay Buccaneers in here?
Yeah, I know they lost Liam Cohen, so that's definitely a concern.
Nah,
but
top 5
I would
maybe
probably have the
should count.
Packers above them, to be quite honest with you. Just because
I think the whole NFC North is better than Tampa Bay,
the Bears.
except Chicago.
Bears could be.
I mean, they asked Ben Johnson.
not
what the
doing it again.
expectation was. He said it wasn't winning his presser. So I don't know.
Okay. I don't know what my top 5 would be, but I think I'm going to go out on a limb and take the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they'll
Now
be.
he's a Panthers guy.
I don't know if you're trolling or not.
No, listen. The Commanders did it last year. You thought I'd be trolling if I said the Commanders last year, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Dale? Okay.
True.
And
That
now
was a year too early. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's all good, man.
Sean Holmes goes, I'm gonna say it again. The reason the Bengals didn't make it was because of their defense, not because of Burrow, Chase, and Burrow carry this year.
Sean is a homer, man. Get him off.
You're a smart guy, Sean Holmes.
No, their offense was elite.
What about week 1? They scored 10 points week 1 and lost to the Patriots.
Well, listen, if Joe Burrow wasn't the worst September quarterback of all time, they could be in the playoffs.
Cook.
Zach Taylor.
Okay.
Optic goes, so everything Brady has done in his career is now erased because of Mahomes. It's not erased. I'm just saying
That's so dramatic.
the peak. If you are measuring the best 7 seasons of Mahomes and
like
Brady's career, Mahomes is better. He peaked higher than Brady. Mahomes has the highest peak of any quarterback in NFL history.
Even
This is
Peyton.
Mahomes' first 7. Against Brady's first 7, it's not even close.
Even Peyton Manning did not perform in the playoffs.
If you're a Tom Brady supporter, you need to take Brady's peak as his second run from Seattle on. And that's excluding 2007, where he threw 50 touchdowns and lost only 1 game. And even still, like, that is a really impressive run. I think that's fair to use in comparison to Mahomes right now. That's a real conversation.
Yeah.
Devin
Whoa.
Wank goes, Dells, did you shower today? Joe Burr, number 2 quarterback.
No, about to shower after this.
Me too.
Somebody smell like shit.
Trey Fagar goes, Joe Burr can only make the playoffs when the king in the north, El Freaky, gets injured. Dells, keep fighting a good fight.
Talk.
El Freaky is a new nickname that I have not heard for Lamar.
El Freaky's
Jackson.
hard. That gets me going.
That's tough.
Freaky is tough.
It's not
That's-
Joe Shiesty, but it's good.
Now imagine your woman calling you that in bed. Or freaky.
No.
TJ Watt to the Ravens.
John, what?
Red Hood goes TJ Watt to the Ravens. What do you think, John?
No.
John, it's time to blow it up, man.
It was actually funny on the walk of shame back from M&T Stadium. I was so pissed and
When you couldn't join the podcast.
so drunk, yes, that I just kept repeating we had to pull up the entire defense and we could trade TJ Watt even though he was hurt. And then a Raven fan just spawned behind me. He's like, I like that idea. I'm like, not you.
John, what do you drink?
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah,
Well, you said you was drunk. I like that.
I'm a big
popped
Corona
my
guy. I'm a big Corona
Like
guy.
Corona guy.
I think that's my go-to. I got it right behind me. So
I had John taking shots at a black people party. He was there all nervous and shit. So I was like, yo, bro, take a shot. And he took a shot. He was up. He was giddy.
Deuce goes, Jalen Hurts gets disrespected for doing what won Lamar's MVP last year. Control the clock and let the defense eat. most disrespected quarterback in football. And I think he's looking directly at you, Dale. He's looking at you, Riff. He's looking at you, John. And he's smiling at Drew. And he has one eye winked at me because he understands that I'm giving him his respect.
Yo, remember? Oh my God, you know what just popped in my brain? Remember 2022? And Dells was like, Jalen Hurts was carrying them, I think, or some shit like that. And Joel just started
Oh, bro. Oh, my God.
he started spazzing, bro. He's like, Jalen Hurts didn't do shit.
Because he thought I was talking about the playoffs. I was talking about the regular season.
He started like it's like something went in. He just started spazzing out, bro.
No, he did a flip switched.
Yeah, that was a funny moment.
Yeah, something Dell's just said. It was just
that was when Dells was locked in. Hurts was like really.
He looked the wrong way at Joe Burrow commenting, and that just ticked me off. Last super chat, Red Hood. I like Jalen, but he's not better than Lamar. Joe, put them on the Lions, 49ers, Eagles, first round exit like the Steelers.
Bam.
We didn't play none of those teams in the first round.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, I'm confused what he's saying.
I have to.
He said if you put Lamar on Joe on Detroit or the Niners, we would be a first round exit like the Steelers. But we never played them.
Oh,
in the first round.
Okay,
wait,
Riv.
you put Lamar or Burrow on the Eagles and
No, on Detroit or the Niners, and the Eagles are a first round exit.
Riv, I have a surprise for you. This is just for you because I want you to look at my reaction while I watch this with you. We're going to look at the Quinyon Mitchell interception.
I can know how much of a demon he is.
Okay, let me see.
I didn't see this
Jaden
either.
Daniels. Okay, to me, this looks like a pretty bad throw right now.
Oh, I saw this. Never mind.
Yeah, let me see. Can we just be honest about the throw, Riv?
It's a one-on-one. It's
All
a
right.
one-on-one.
Look at where he has to jump.
Bro, he didn't time it right, bro. What did you want me to do?
No, you're right. You can argue the timing was off because you look at him. He kind of jumped on this right here, right? He's going to
jumped
jump.
early.
Quinyon jumped.
Yeah.
You see where Quinyon jumped for. Listen,
But it was a pretty bad ball. He tried to play
Terry
defense.
was one of the best ball trackers in the world, and I just watched him not ball track well.
But is this single coverage? Because this looks like there's a safety here.
Yeah, that's one-on-one to me, bro.
Okay.
The safety definitely comes over late. It's one-on-one.
That's one-on-one. They both jump. It's
Safety had no impact on that play.
Well, listen, Riv.
Well,
next
well,
year,
well.
Terry McLaurin breakout season, baby. Another one.
Breakout
Another one.
1,300.
Yeah.
What's a breakout for him so we
up
can
and
get
about.
that established?
Next year is going to be
Yes, got it.
1,500, Riv. Just for you, it's going to be 15 big ones.
He's not
It's going to be
capable of
15
that.
big ones, baby. Yes, with double-digit touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do his thing.
The Terry hate's surprising. Well, it's understandable. It's not surprising. It's
That's not hate. That was the one who told me about his numbers. That's
something.
All I did was I was just curious how many yards he had this year. That was all.
it's a funny thing,
Okay, fellas. Thank you guys for tuning into the podcast so late at night. We appreciate you guys. Obviously, fellas, all you guys for showing up. This was a great weekend of some football. We got a blowout game, but neither here or there. Hopefully, you guys capitalized on the Pros Picks promo they had. It was Jaden Daniels to get one passing yard, and that was pretty easy. And if you guys want to support the podcast, then you go to Pros Picks, use code PAS, you play $5, get $50, and it does help the podcast a ton if you are into that. So thank you guys for watching. You guys can follow us on Twitter at PickAsidePod, on Instagram and TikTok at PickAsidePodcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.